Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means, and the other two are just along for the ride. Nick, say hi.
Hello.
And we are joined by Rockies prospect Braxton Fulford. What up, big dog?
Not much. How you guys doing?
We're
Good.
doing all right. Doing all right. So you are back in Spokane after Eugene, and I will say I was super stoked that I actually got to watch you play as well as the rest of the Indians. I think it was our first time that we were able to see you guys televised. With that being said, how stoked was your mom?
Great. Yeah, this is actually the first time she got to come out and watch me this season.
Oh, she
Um,
oh she came out in person.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Um, which is funny because she hasn't been able to see me on any of the live streams because they're not live streamed at many of the fields out in this league. But yeah, she was actually there in person.
Yeah, ironic.
Yeah.
Uh, that's cool though. So I was looking at the Instagrams and stuff. Like, how cool. So how would you rate Oregon's campus compared to Texas Tech's campus as you guys spent some
Mm,
time out there? Because Eugene Emeralds played their games at the ball field on Oregon's campus. So, and
yeah.
it's completely okay to throw some shade right now.
Um, I'll be honest, like Oregon's got a great athletic facilities all around. I got to go see the track stadium, track town. I don't know what they call it, but the track stadium's ridiculous. And just every stadium they have is really top tier.
Hmm.
Whereas Texas Tech might not be able to match them in every sport, but I know our football, our baseball, our basketball is definitely gonna match them or even be a little bit better.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I can't knock Texas Tech. We got some great facilities out there and doing some good things.
Did it take you back at all playing on a college field? Like, was that kind of, does that mean anything? Was
Yeah, I
that kind of
did.
weird?
I hadn't played on a turf field since college, so being able to play on turf again was fun. You can use the turf to bounce the ball.
Mm.
I haven't been able to do that since college. It's just fun to do sometimes. Gives you a little bit more range. I'd say we had our shortstop Ariel Amador
Hmm.
making some plays, deep in the six hole and bouncing a ball across the infield. Um, so it adds another dynamic to the game.
Yeah, I could see that. That's fun. Were you able to gun anybody? Do a nice little skip throw?
No, I didn't skip any to throw anybody out, but I
No.
definitely tried it a few times in between innings.
Got to have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, just speaking of competitive baseball, you grew up in Texas where everything's just a little bit different when it comes to high school sports and stuff. Speaking as a Nebraskan myself, it's just definitely not the same. What was it like playing baseball, high school baseball in Texas as you were growing up, as you were kind of doing your thing?
Yeah. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, which many people not might not know, but it's pretty secluded from a lot of other big cities.
Hmm.
So growing up, I played around Lubbock and played on some travel ball teams around there. But the competition you're talking about happens a lot more in the Dallas area, the Houston area, East Texas,
Okay.
which is where I eventually ended up going to play every weekend. Once I got to, middle school and high school, I'd have to drive across the state to go play where the good competition was. But you're right, the competition in that area is just insane. There's so many people, so many kids. So obviously you're gonna have better competition and so many athletes that come out of there.
Do you have any like solid memories of like, I guess what how do I want to ask this? Like, as you're growing up and going through those competitions and seeing the difference between Lubbock and in Dallas, was there any of like a oh crap moment? Like, okay, this is that next level up. Like, this is what I want to do, where I want to be at. Do you ever have that?
Uh, yeah, for sure. You know, Probably around like 14 or 15 was when I was seriously going to traveling every weekend to Dallas, trying to play in leagues on the weekend or tournaments. And you'd come across some kids like I'm pretty sure I saw Dustin May at one point. Um, there's had to be numerous other that are big leaguers right now. They're around my age, but they're big leaguers right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a different level of talent that you come across. Grayson Rodriguez, for example.
Okay.
I played with him on a travel ball team, Heston Kjerstad. So like you're exposed to guys that just have innate ability that you're not going to find in small towns necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but they're gathered in a large concentration, and I'd say that's more of the thing that was shocking is you just come across some athletes that are a step above others, and you watch those guys play and you kind of notice like how they make it look so easy, and you realize like I got to make it look easy. I got to get better at this because that's how a professional, that's how a big leaguer looks. So just being exposed to the best players of our generation, I think was important because some of those guys were around the Dallas area.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're seeing that like you're athletic and you're definitely top of tier, and then you're seeing these other guys just kind of show up like okay, so that's that next level. And then I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
see it now with some of the guys that you're playing with and playing against. All right, that's that next level, and you're having a hell of a season already. So it's like, is that just kind of what kind of pushes you and like makes that fire inside kind of ignite?
Yeah, 100%. Like all everybody that plays at this level is a competitor. We want to win. We want to be the best. Um, and it's like a double-edged sword. You want to compare yourself to everybody else, but you can't beat yourself up at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. But yeah, like I'm constantly watching the guys that are the best, the Adley Rutschmans, the whoever else, and seeing how they're going about their day-to-day business, and then kind of like noticing what I might be doing differently and how I might be falling short, and then working to get better to be as good as I can be as good as Adley Rutschman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how we get better. Is ultimately taking notes from those guys that are succeeding and that are the best of the best.
Yeah, you have to definitely keep working on that. And so I guess with that piece, like you have many coaches and you have gone through all of that kind of stuff. How do you go about doing that? We hear some guys like they do a lot on their own. They do a lot from the team. They do a lot from the Rockies organization, telling them what to do, kind of guiding them what to do, not telling them. Um, is that you like looking at the film, looking at Adley is like, oh, I'm like you're a smart enough ball player, I'm sure. Like, all right, he's doing this with his pop up, and like, are you like analyzing it like that, or is like somebody? Are you sitting down with somebody, some coaches that like look at that to take you to that next level? I guess just what does that next going to that next level, that behind the scenes stuff, look like for a Braxton Fulford?
Yeah, so I feel like you're always gonna have, as long as you're playing, you're gonna have coaches that are gonna be pushing you. We have some really great, catching minds in the Rockies organization, and we definitely sit down. We watch video. We talk about ways that I can get better. Um, for example, like there's a whole new wave of knee down setups for catchers.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've been working on a whole lot this season, trying to get comfortable with, you know, trying to implement that into my game because there's a lot of benefits to it. Um, if you look at the numbers, there's been some studies on the knee down setups versus traditional, and just being able to sit down with my coaches and realize that this could help my game improve. Um, that is definitely beneficial. But then there's also the part of it to where like myself, like I gotta want to be better, and when I'm just lounging around, hanging out, am I paying attention to like the MLB games? Am I watching these guys play every day? Um, So I think there's two sides to it. You know, you're always gonna have your coaches helping you out, but like you also need to take the initiative yourself and
Mhm.
watch them play, and um, you can't rely solely on your coaches
Yeah, yeah. There's got to be a nice yin and yang with that,
for sure.
and and I mean, with what you just said, like, are you able to even enjoy baseball, like watching baseball, like as a fan anymore, or are you constantly analyzing, like,
Yeah, actually, I am. I think I enjoy it
okay,
more
good,
nowadays.
good,
It's kind of funny. Growing up, I always played sports, and I definitely always played baseball, but I never watched baseball. It's kind of funny. Like
yeah,
MLB, college baseball, I never watched it. I just wanted to be the one playing. I wanted to be playing basketball, football, whatever it was with my friends. Nowadays, I'm playing professional baseball, and I'm way more in tune to the major leagues. Um, I actually started playing MLB The Show this year just
nice,
because it's, you are in the game in a sense. You're playing with different players, you're getting to know different players. And I think it's actually beneficial for a catcher, just being able to throw with different pitchers and, pitch sequencing and all this different stuff. So it is a video game, but at the same time, it is helping me
hmm
as a catcher. And I do enjoy it actually. It's kind of, people have said that before, like, oh, you come home and you play the show. Do you not get enough baseball? But um, at this point in my life, no, I enjoy it like a 24/7 thing.
yeah. Honestly, that's fun to hear, like as a fan, as I mean, we see you guys grind, and we know there's a fine line between giving yourself some time and space and giving yourself me time, so to speak, and then constantly working. Like as fans, I think sometimes we get lost in like, what, you're not working 24/7 at your craft, like what are you doing taking an actual off day? And I think that narrative is kind of going away over this past few years, but it's good to like hear you say that, a professional athlete say like, yeah, I actually give myself time, I play video games, I'm still learning, getting something out of it, but I'm still giving myself that time, because like I know me and my own personal career and all this stuff I have to deal with. Like if I don't take 30 minutes before I go get the kids before I'm coming home, like with what all the stuff I deal with at my job, like I I'm not going to be that best dad that my kids need. So I need to take that time, and like there's just that reset. And I think it's super important in whatever you do. And so like it's very refreshing to hear you say, yeah, I take that time. I mean, it's you're still learning from it, but like video
Yeah,
games are fun, right? Like,
no, no doubt. There's definitely a time for just to get away from the game. We get off days on Mondays, and um, I think it's so important to take your rest. Sometimes I'm tempted to go golf or something,
yeah,
um, but I found that it's just more beneficial to be lazy for a day, give my body a rest, give my mind a rest.
yeah, you definitely got to have that reset. So that was one of our questions. It's like, what does an off day look like for you? Um, are you getting into the fly fishing yet? Are you going out with Braden Ward trying to find some streams and catching something?
I haven't yet, but we have talked about it for sure multiple times. I don't know if he's gotten his rods yet. He was telling me he was having his rods brought up here or something like that.
Okay.
But I definitely want to fly fish. I love fishing for largemouth bass back home. But I've never fly fished in my life, so that's definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah, all the guys that we've talked to that have done it, like Aaron Shunk got really into it one off season, and like he's just like, that's my off day. It's very Charlie Blackman esque,
Yeah,
like that he has his off day and he's going fly fishing. I don't know if he's found it down in Albuquerque as much as he was finding it up in Spokane or Hartford.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I have yet to dabble myself, but it would be fun. It'd be fun to get out there.
yeah.
Um, Going back to college. So I grew up in Nebraska. The CWS was a big deal for us. We'd always make our way to Omaha. It was always fun to be there as a fan. What was those experiences like for you in 1819, freshman, sophomore, first taste? Like, what was that?
Um, first of all, they're huge growing experiences. My freshman year, uh, I was it was a huge learning experience. Primarily because I was playing a couple times a week, the first half of the season, and then about halfway through the season, I was the everyday guy, catching every day. Um, I was hitting really poorly my freshman year, but I was the guy behind the plate, and I was doing a great job behind the plate. And so I was catching in the World Series as a freshman, and it was a huge opportunity for me to grow mentally because as a catcher, you have such a big job defensively, and you really have to separate like your defensive priorities and your offensive priorities. I was hitting horribly. My team's in the College World Series, and like I'm not the guy that's okay with hitting horribly. Like I want to rake. I want to be the guy swinging the bat well. But I had to separate those two. Do my best at the plate, but that wasn't happening at the time, and I still had to be there for my team and be the best I could behind the plate. Not to mention I'm playing in front of 20,000 fans or whatever it was as a 18-year-old kid.
Hmm.
Um, I would say it's just a huge growing experience. Something that's been great for me personally. Um, and then the next year, 2019, was a lot different. I was swinging the bat well. I think I was hitting like 400 in the postseason. So it was kind of a contrasting experience. I was able to, help my team offensively and defensively that season. And, both were amazing experiences. And I learned a lot from both of the years. And, you know, super grateful for it. That's such a cool experience in general.
Yeah, it really is. It's like as a fan, it was always fun to be out in the bleachers. I never sat anywhere but the bleachers, left field, right field, just the
Yeah.
bleacher creatures in a sense.
Yeah.
It was always a blast. Um, but like so the CWS, I mean, you played at Texas Tech, which is probably one of the better Midwest baseball towns, baseball stadiums that there are. What does it what like how does that compare like playing in front of fans in Lubbock against like a Texas Longhorns rivalry weekend and going to the CWS where you're just in that big Rosenblatt stadium. Nope, not Rosenblatt anymore.
Yeah. I
Whatever.
don't know what it's called, but
I want to
yeah,
say Warner
Rosenblatt's the old
Park.
one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, playing at Texas Tech, there's definitely some super regionals and regional games that were comparable to the College World Series, but definitely not to the level. Um, I know my freshman year, we had the opening night game against Florida. Um, Stands were packed. I don't know how much that place holds, like 20, 25,000 people. Um, and we won the game. One of the best experiences of my life. I think Florida was ranked number one at the time.
Hmm.
They were the favorite. Um, Texas Tech, we would have probably 6,000 fans, 7,000 fans, something like that. Um, and they're all local people. I'm from Lubbock, so that's just a special experience on a different level.
Hmm.
Being able to play in front of my hometown and win at that. Um, College World Series was a lot more people, probably a little bit more nerves, but um, Texas Tech definitely got some good crowds going.
How did you hone that in? How did you hone in that nerves? Like again, 18-year-old struggling at the plate, knew what you had to do defensively and all that like stuff. Like, is there how do you get your mind right for those kind of moments?
Yeah, you know, I would have to say I'm a Christian. I definitely pray before every game. So bringing that in times where my heart might be beating really fast definitely calms me down a little bit. Breathing, and then just trusting that I have the ability to play well, and there's a reason I'm on the field with everyone else. Experience helps out with that a lot. Like I
Mhm.
said, being a freshman in that situation really helped me grow because I haven't been in a situation like that since. So every time I'm in a big game, I'm like, I've been here. Take a deep breath, and I'm good. Hopefully one day I'm playing in, game 7 of the World Series and it's a bigger situation.
Hmm.
Um, but at the moment, that's been the biggest game I played in.
Yeah. Yeah. That self belief is a huge piece of it. And like taking yourself, bringing yourself back to the ground and like just understanding who you are, where you're at. And like, yeah, you got this. It's such a big thing. We were talking to
Exactly.
doing Darnell about that a lot. Like he kind of grew into that this over this last year and a half, this third year in professional sports is like, okay, I was just dominating. Then I felt some adversity is like, okay, I got to get back to my roots. I got to get back to, I am good. I can do this. I got to just find it again. And he's dominating right now in Hartford. So there is that huge piece of just believing who you are and what you are capable of and just going 100% with it. It's such a big deal. Um,
Yeah, sure.
love that. Love that. Do you remember facing Karl Kaufman and Jeff Criswell in
Yeah,
2018?
not Criswell. I remember Kaufman because I don't know what happened the first at bat. He got me out, whether it was a strikeout, ground out, something like that. And then I remember specifically the next at bat, he had been attacking me in with his sinker.
Mm-hmm.
So the second at bat, I'm like, all right, I know what you're gonna throw. I go up to the plate, I get my pitch, and I hit it off the left center field wall. I think it had like the numbers 380, and it hit 380, like dead on. If it was a foot higher, it went out.
Yeah. Dang.
But that is the best experience or my best memory from the College World Series, and I've talked to him about it actually,
Yeah.
um, multiple times. So
Did he remember it as clearly as you did?
not as clearly, but I think he remembered it. Yeah,
Yeah. We asked him about the CWS when we talked to him about a year ago, and he the same kind of stuff, like just in awe of the moment and just being able to start that game one was pretty big for him. And then
yeah,
here we are a year later, and you're talking about taking him to deep left. Love that.
yeah.
Um, and then last college question, then we'll get to some other stuff. Again, friend of the pod, Zach Kokoska. Do you remember playing K State? Some of those Big 12 battles against Zach down there?
Oh yeah, for sure. Zach and I, we played together pretty every year in pro ball, so we're good buddies, and we always go back and forth about Tech versus K State. I'm pretty sure K State beat us in the series a couple of weeks ago, actually. So we were just talking about it, but yeah, it seems like every time K State plays Texas Tech, they play really well, and they give Tech a run for their money. And that's how it was when we were in college as well. They were always swinging the bat well, and
Mhm.
um, it wasn't an easy series. But yeah, we're always talking about those.
Yeah, I'm me personally right now loving these kind of connections with some of the guys that we've talked to with where we are right now.
Yeah,
It's baseball, and it's like you think it's like this huge thing, but yet somehow you all are facing each other, and you're all here now, and
yeah, it keeps
just
getting smaller and smaller.
right, right. It's pretty cool. Um, all right, let's get into the draft here. So getting drafted 2021, sixth round by the Rockies there. I think it was like 170 overall and that kind of stuff. Um, what was that day like for you? Um, what was the build up to that draft? Because I think they were still doing it. Was it just 1 day, 2 days? Nick
It
might
was
know.
three
It
or
was three,
yeah or no
Yeah,
3
three, yeah,
days,
3 days,
3 days in
yeah,
21. Okay.
still three
yeah.
days.
So like what was that build up to that point like for you?
Um, well, I'll start in 2020. I was the fringe guy in the 2020. I had a really rough short season in 2020. Didn't really show any reason I needed to be drafted, and I think I was in the 6th round again, something like that. But obviously, there was only 5 rounds in 2020, so that was tough. Um, Motivated me a lot
Mm-hmm.
coming back into 2021. Had a good season, and you know, I knew I wanted to play professional baseball. Um, I didn't really know too much about what was going to happen with the draft or anything like that. I had a little bit of an idea, but I wasn't worried about it too much. I had an agent that was going to take care of me. So, yeah, I went to the draft combine. That was a really cool experience. Got to talk to a lot of teams, meet a lot of guys. And then pretty much on draft day, it was just a day full of nerves. I honestly hated it. It was the worst day ever until I got picked. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
And then it was just like the weight of the world lifted off my shoulders, and just ready to go play after that.
Because I mean, after you got drafted, it was probably what, a month or so before you went down to the ACL.
Yeah, something like that. 2 weeks to a month. I got to go to Denver first, which was amazing
Okay.
experience. Got to go to a game out there and do a few things, and then we went to Arizona and started playing the complex.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Rockies always have the draft picks that went out to Coors for a series or two. It's always kind of cool how they take care of you guys before like sending you off
yeah.
to the ACL or wherever you're going to go next. It's always fun to watch. So what, like on that day, like were you watching like each pick or was the TV off? Were you doing your normal
Yeah,
routine?
I had my immediate family. We were kind of sitting around the couch, um, ordered dinner or whatever, and just kind of watching the draft and seeing who was going. I had teammates going. I had other guys that I knew that were getting picked and whatnot, and texting other buddies back and forth like, what are you seeing? What are you thinking?"
Yeah.
It was an interesting day just because majority of my friends are baseball players and we're around the same age, so there's a lot of chatter between friends and just waiting to get picked. And once you do, it's just a great feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, the weight of the world coming off your shoulders and when that moment's going down.
Yeah,
That's cool. It's got that had to have been a childhood dream, right? Like getting like that draft point, right? Like getting to that point.
yeah. I baseball's been a big part of my family growing up. My uncle played college ball at Texas Tech actually, and
Okay.
ever since I was a little kid playing little league, I wanted to be a professional baseball player. So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Getting that. Yeah. That's gotta be so cool.
Yeah.
So then Arizona Fall League, then you had the off season, then you were in Fresno for the full season last year. Had a pretty solid season, right? Ended at 829 OPS, 15 home runs, 17 doubles. What was that biggest difference between college ball and that professional ball? Especially in a park like Chickansee Park, which is such a sweet stadium. But like just the overall difference between the two games, like on the field, off the field.
Um, I would have to say just you're getting rid of the school aspect of things and you're putting more games in place of that. And you really will get exposed if you're not in the areas that you're not prepared. You got to be mentally and physically prepared for the season. It's a long season. It's emotionally draining at times. When you're having rough patches, you got to realize that it's a long season, and you just got to keep going, bringing your best effort and attitude every day. And I think that's one of the biggest things because it's 6 days a week. It's almost nonstop. So you got to be on your P's and Q's and taking care of yourself mentally and physically to last the whole season. Whereas in college,
Right.
you play 3 games a week, maybe a couple midweeks, maybe not, and you know you have a lot more rest. It seems like, especially for me, um, towards the end of last season and now this season, I've been catching 5 games a week, which in college would never happen. Um, so I really got to take care of my body, and that's why I was saying like the off day,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be lazy. I got to take care of my body and get off my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's going to catch up to me.
Yeah. Like what does that midweek off day look like for you? Like are you doing anything? I mean you probably have your like normal routine, but like are you squatting? Are you catching anybody? You doing any bullpen stuff or like?
Yeah. The midweek off day, I'm definitely catching some bullpens. Um, but I'm trying to do as little as possible.
Yeah.
I'm lobbing the ball back to the pitcher, trying to take it easy on my arm. I'm sitting back there in the most comfortable position I can. Um, I'm trying to save my body as much as I can, but I still
Yeah.
have uh, things I need to do on that off day.
Right. Yeah. Do catchers' arms get tired?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it's necessarily the arm because your legs are a huge part of throwing. So just in general,
Just all of it.
you're gonna get tired and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I've always just wondered that. Like, they throw it back 150 times a game. Like, why aren't we talking about their arms? Like, why isn't there more conversation about this? But yeah, the
Yeah.
full body, like the toll you all take.
Yeah.
Have you do you remember like the first time you got your bell rung or like the worst time you got your bell rung? Like just like maybe I should go play first base.
This is gonna sound bad, but I guess I've been catching for so long that I will get hit by a ball on the arm and or take one off the helmet and like I'm good. I'm good. Like I've just been hit so many times. Like it I mean, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get hit with a ball and it's really gonna hurt. But
Not a jinx, not a jinx.
yeah, I feel like I've taken enough hits to you know, be able to deal with the pain.
Yeah. I mean, like you said
Sounds kind of
earlier,
bad, but
no, like you said earlier, experience is the best teacher, right? Like you're experiencing what it's like to get hit. So
yeah.
you're just it just is what it is, just part of the game. Like we hear everybody say, like catchers are just a different breed. They're just built just a different kind of toughness. And I think I think that's okay. Just don't get
Yeah.
hurt. Just I'm knocking on wood right now. We don't need that bad voodoo
Yeah.
go in.
I don't need it.
No, especially with the season you're having right now. Like is everything, there's no way it is, but I'm gonna say it like it is so you can correct me. Is everything just a little bit easier the second season going on? Like, because you're that Northwest League Player of the Week had to feel pretty good coming out of the gates, especially after spring training, the Arizona Fall League that you had. And then you come out of the gates, and the Northwest League is arguably one of the harder leagues to hit in when it's April because it's rainy, it's cold, it's terrible weather. Nothing's easy about being up there, and you're having the start that you have been having. Um, like, just is it that experience that you had that full season coming into it, or just what would you account some of
I
that success to?
I would have to say just some of the things that I learned last year, I've been able to bring into this season and apply, especially at the plate. And trusting my approach and you know, essentially that's all it is just taking the things that I experienced and I learned last year that I had success with and bringing them into this season. So yeah, I'd say second year around it has been easier because I learned a lot last year, but I know that the next levels there's going to be more to learn and more I'm going to have to adapt to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Just being ready for it when it shows up. Um,
Exactly.
what about like the pitchers? Like I mean, you've worked a little bit now with Jared Cande, which I'm a huge fan of. Just a dog on the mound. You got Victor Juarez, the young kid from Mexico who's a stud. You pitched with him last year. Um, what's what's it like catching these guys? And obviously, I'll say Hughes and Jaden Hill. But like, what's it kind of like catching all of those different types of pitchers?
Well, first of all, I'll say that I think our staff in Spokane is one of the best staffs around. I mean, you can look around at every one of those guys, and you see potential for a long time big leaguer. Um, but I guess we can start with like Cande. He's just him and Juarez to me are very similar pitchers. Um, albeit Cande is a lot stronger at the moment, a lot more mature. Therefore, he has a little bit more velocity, but they pitch in a lot of the same ways, and that's why they have success. They're able to command their fastball, their slider, the curveball, and their changeup. And at this level, especially, that's really going to give hitters a really tough time. Even in the big leagues, if you can command 4 pitches,
Yeah.
hitters are going to have a tough time. And that's why each of them have success. And it's really exciting and it's really fun for me behind the plate when a guy can do that, and I can have an actual game plan and expose the hitters because my pitcher can do what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of going back to what you were just talking about. You come from not Texas, but it's you go college to now you're catching guys like Juarez, Mexico. You have your American kids, you have Venezuelan. How do you adapt to something like that? Because I Texas, it's a very diverse state, but now you're kind of working with I don't know how best to explain it, but you're kind of working with different kinds of people. I guess would be the right term. Learning.
Yeah.
To catch like that.
Yeah, I mean, we all are good friends. We don't all speak the same language, but I have a very simple level of understanding of Spanish, and I can speak the simplest level of Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're the same with their English, so we get up there on the mound if we have to talk, I'm talking in my Spanish and they're talking in their English, and we get the point across. But at the same time, like, we're spending every day together practically, and we're all good friends. Like, even though we can't speak to each other, like you and I can speak together, we still have fun, we still joke around, and we still talk to each other. So it's really not that different. Our cultures are a lot different, and um, on some Sundays we'll hang out and we'll experience each other's cultures. I know the Latin American guys have cooked us dinner a few weeks ago. So we're just baseball players. We're just guys that speak 2 different languages. So I wouldn't say it's that much different.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then like you were saying, I was kind of curious if there was like any different style in pitching coming from different cultures. Like we hear about East Coast, West Coast league baseball, small ball on the West Coast and the SEC or power mashing, that kind of stuff. But like you said, Victor and Cande are very similar pitchers, and so not quite that big difference. It's just kind of they are who they are type thing. But yeah, go ahead and talk a little bit about Hughes and Hill.
Yeah, obviously, Hughes and Hill have probably the highest ceilings on the team. Both of them can touch 100 if they really want to. Um, I'll start with Hughes. He's similar to Cande in the aspect that he can throw 4 pitches for strikes. He hasn't necessarily been able to do that consistently this season, but I saw it last season and I know it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And once he does that consistently, you're going to see him at Coors. But the dude is an animal on the mound, electric arm. And then you go to Jaden Hill, and it's the same thing, but different. His pitches are different, right? He's been up on the mound this year throwing 96, 98 sinkers. Like that is a nightmare to hit at the plate. I'll just say that. He throws his changeup naturally. So he's got a sinker and a changeup that are, his bread and butter at the moment. His last outing, he was landing his slider really well. And he also just came off of Tommy John, so a lot of this is developing. But the same thing with Jaden. Once he gets around the zone and he has pitches he can trust, he's going to be a nightmare for hitters. So for both of them, like they've had some rough outings, but I'm not worried about it at all. They're going to be, just fine in the long run.
Yeah, like all 4 of those guys, they all have it, whatever it is. Like you can just look at them like, yeah, there's something in there that's going to take them to that next level, and they're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
How hard is it to catch a 98-mile-per-hour sinker?
It's a little bit harder for sure. If he's throwing it over the plate, it's not that bad, but um, it gets tough with everybody when they're yanking pitches or whatever, and you don't necessarily know where it's going to be.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but yeah, that's why you're back there to kind of hone it in. The
exactly.
the defensive guru there. All right, we won't take up too much of your time. We told you about 45 minutes, so we're gonna end this with some fun questions here. We always like to end it here. So like you grew up in Texas, Lubbock. What was your favorite team growing up?
The Rangers. I think it was 2008 when they had the back-to-back World Series runs. They had Josh Hamilton,
Yeah.
a bunch of those guys. So that was definitely my favorite MLB team growing up. I actually am my whole family's huge Broncos fans, which
Okay.
is kind of ironic. My mom was born in Denver and stuff, so throw that in there.
So you got a little Denver connection there. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to ask you, do you know who the Blake Street Bombers are? I know you said you didn't watch the rock or baseball growing up and that kind of stuff. But like any idea
I don't know
Colorado
Blake
Rockies
Street.
trivia?
Uh-uh.
No. Okay. So you want
Wait,
the
who
answer?
is it?
Yeah.
What is
So
it?
Andres Galarraga, Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Vinny Castillo, and you could Ellis Burks should be thrown in there too. But they were just the mashers for the Rockies in the 90s, just 40 bombs each. And they just it was mile high baseball, and it was so much fun to watch like growing up. Like I've been a baseball fan, Rockies fan since 1993. Like that's been the beginning of my baseball fandom. And it's just watching those guys smash just Blake Street Bombers. It's
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now I know.
yeah. Definitely go see some of their highlights on YouTube. It's just insane, just mashing, especially Andres Galarraga. Like he was so much fun to watch hit. Um, Favorite place to travel. So like we talked about the importance of taking time off, giving yourself some time. Imagine you like to travel. Where's your favorite place to travel
Uh,
that you travel to,
well,
maybe? Yeah.
this last off season, I went to Bali, Indonesia, because
Nice.
my brother and his whole family moved over to Thailand and lived there for about 5 years. And we went there this off season to kind of meet in Bali.
Okay.
And I'll say that was a really cool experience. Literally halfway across the world. Um, don't know if I'll ever get to go back there, but um, I mean that's just a place that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Really cool experience.
Sure. It was gorgeous too. Yeah. Definitely jealous of that.
Yeah, long flights to get
Yeah.
there though.
Yeah.
First one I have is draft bonus. You got what was it? I have it here. $280,000. What'd you buy? What was that first big thing? If you can remember that you remember buying, kind of.
I only bought one big thing, and the rest of it went into investments. But I bought a car, just because I knew I was going to be driving all across the country and needing to store some stuff up in the car. So
What
I
kind of
got
car?
a
No.
Kia Telluride,
Oh,
little
nice.
SUV that you put stuff in the back, and yeah, it's not the
Yeah.
manliest car, but it gets the job done.
I I've been eyeing those. I like that ride. That's a
I
good pick.
I prefer the Ford Raptor, but it's a little bit much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My other one is you signed for Tops for their Bowman product. Is that something
Mhm.
that was do you collect your own cards at all?
I do. I have a couple of my own cards.
Okay.
I haven't gotten into it too much. I know I'm really good friends with Josh Young, and I know he's been collecting all sorts of cards of guys he plays against, and he's getting them to sign them.
Mm,
I think that would be cool to do one day. I haven't done that, but yeah,
It's got to be a cool experience too. I mean, getting cards for yourself, having to signing them.
yeah, yeah, it was actually really cool just getting a card of my own. It's another dream come true, kind of like the draft.
Yeah, that's fun. And last question, my favorite question. We always like to end it with this. Your favorite baseball moment of all time for you. You get to be completely 100% selfish and it's okay. Nobody gets to judge you. Favorite baseball moment.
Uh, I have to say it was in 2019 we played a series at Texas Tech, Super Regional against Oklahoma State. Um, I had one of my best friends from high school was on Oklahoma State. Um, Now Trevor Boone and Tank were also on Oklahoma State team. But we played a 3-game series. We won the first one, lost the second one, won the third one, and it was just the best weekend of baseball, back and forth. There's just so many things, the community, the team, the
Mm-hmm.
guys I knew on the other team, and just the whole weekend, and then eventually winning, coming out on top, and going to Omaha. Just that series in general was my favorite baseball experience.
Yeah, that got me going. Like let's go compete. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds fun. Yeah, just being in competition and going back and forth. Like, no, we're gonna get the final say, and you did. Yeah,
yeah,
that's sweet. I love that. Braxton, this was sweet. Thank you for hanging out with us for
Thank
a
you.
little bit, telling your story a little bit. You're definitely one of our guys now, so we'll promote you as much as we can and doing it the way we like to do. And just keep breaking, keep doing your thing, and we're watching, man.
all right. I appreciate you guys. This is fun.
Yeah, appreciate
It
it.
was
Thanks, man.
All right. See ya.
See ya. Thank you for watching and listening. Please check out our link tree for more content.